Surabaya, and she's also a disability advocate. She's doing research on participatory design, which she's going to talk about and share it with us today. 20 minutes, Arina.
Okay. Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Okay, so it's very exciting because here we have so many backgrounds, economics, and I will talk about a little bit about economics actually. Okay, so I think we will get the connect after this slide. Okay, I will introduce myself. Next slide, please. Yeah, I'm a disabled woman, so I got polio when I was 6 months old, and I was a children, and now I'm using crutches and a wheelchair as well. Next slide. So my background is architecture. I think you are wondering how I can get into architecture. It's quite a challenge. My family support me, but other people, challenge me. Can you do it? But yeah, I think it's a blessing because I understand more about architecture, and if you're talking about facility, infrastructure, it's quite a good position to have a background in architecture. So my research interest is about architecture for humanity, and then environment and behavior study, and inclusive universal design. And I became a lecturer since 2009, so it's quite a long way. It's almost 10 years. Okay, next slide, please. So being a disabled person and teaching architecture is quite challenging for me actually, because I see many things which disturb me and make me wondering why I'm a teacher in architectural field, but it's happened when I see my environment. It's quite challenging for me, and sometimes someone who wants to be blamed. So it's quite okay. Is it me because I'm a lecturer because I couldn't give any good lecture to my students, or is it because the mindset of the people? So it's quite intriguing. But I think, as you know, that if you study architecture, we always see the problems without knowing the real problems. You know what I mean? If the student for architecture, you have to design a house, they just imagine it. They never asking for the users. They just imagining themselves about the users, and they try to designing, imagining something without it's not being there. So it's happened a lot in our studio in architectural design. So that's what happened. So if you are studying architecture, we have to think critically and creatively. But you know that you think creative and thinking, you never get. It's not always the right answer. But if you get a good case study or a good reference, it will make you better for designing. But unfortunately, in architecture study, we have a lack of that. And because myself as educators, I saw that some lecturers seeing problems as a research project, but not encourage the students how to get to know better about the problems itself. So it's happened. So because this challenge, I'm wondering what can I do? What I can give supportive, because myself is a disabled woman, and what can I do to support this idea? Next slide, please. So I have a personal and group mission because I also involved in some NGO. So one thing that I want to share with my students and other people is about experience, our experience and how to designing more empathy than sympathy. That's what I want to do. So, and next, I want to interlink between the students, the academician, and the user as well, and the society, community, because I think it's very difficult to give the idea how we can connect with the society. Sometimes we are quite far and we couldn't reach the society, and it's not easy, and I know it myself. For example, if we talk about being normal or not normal, it's quite common. If you're saying in my class, so I was wondering, no, I couldn't straight say that, no, you couldn't say normal and not normal. sometimes they didn't take it, gratefully. But you have to show it how it's mean. That it's not, it's not good if you say normal and not normal. For example, about the difference between tuli and tunarungi, if they didn't hear from other people or they didn't involve in our community, they didn't know anything. So I think it's the time to give them an understanding how to design a better environment, not only good environment. So that's my mission for this. Next slide, please. And talking about being, an architecture lecturer, and also I'm a disabled person, I see everything in my environment, they design it with a half-heart solution. And sometimes I'm quite mad and disappointed with this condition. And next slide. For example, this is my campus. This is my campus, and in 2009, they provide ramp. They provide ramp. And one day, I invite my friend, Bumadi, to join in my class. And she couldn't take the road in the ramp. She's stuck in the middle. Because the ramp is too, too narrow. So I was kind of wondering, so we choose the stairs. So I think wondering why there is ramp here. And this is in architectural department. You know what I mean? And my senior designed it. So it's quite, okay, we have a problem here. So again, in 2014, we renovate the ramp. Because, I complained with my department, and please change the ramp to be accessible. Okay, they try to renovate it and change the material with wood. And wood have a very short lifespan, and we have a termite damage, and many accidents happen. This is in outdoor. This is in outdoor, and one day I sleep, and my crutch, because the wood's quite cracking because of termite, and my crutch just like, yeah, you know what I mean. So we have a problem again here. So I'm not complaining, but not only me have an accident, many people have an accident. So in 2018, they changed the design. So it's not, 2009, 2018, it's not almost 8 years, right? They changed the design, they take the budget for only 4 years and 4 years. And this, they make it more concrete. Because I complain, it's not, have a very short lifespan, we have a problem, and okay, I have a design. This is the last one in 2018, and what happened? We still have a problem. I twice sleep in this place, because look, the materials, it's very slippery. And what I'm disappointing is that, every day I'm lecturing in university every day from Monday to Friday. What I'm disappointed is why they didn't ask me, because I'm also a lecturer in this department, and my friend who designed it is my close friend. So I was quite wondering why you didn't ask me. So it's just like, something that I'm wondering. And I said to my friend that if you design it carefully and asking us, you don't have to give any budget, because I think this design, if you design it very well, for example, the materials, and you put guiding blocks or something like that, I think it will spend for 20 years or more than 30 years. So you don't have to put, much budget for that. Okay. And then next slide, please. So this is what we do. We're experiencing the city with friends. This is common in here in Surabaya, in Malang as well, I think, right? So we have motorcycles, and we prevent motorcycles to use the pedestrian ways, and we put some, some block there. But some friends experience it's just like they couldn't for wheelchair, and I think for me myself, because I have 4 legs, so when I walk, it's quite challenging to pass that that stick, yeah, in pedestrian. But the problem is, next slide, they don't have inconsistent design rules and solution. And I'm wondering why what happens, you know, because I don't know, because they're supposed to have consistent rules and designing, right? Even though it's just like copycat, but you know, you have to design it very well. But it's happening in our environment. Next slide, please. So in here, I see that there is a benefit for me myself because, well, actually my master degree is science buildings. So I moved to the different topics because my supervisor said to me that why you didn't, you know, involve with the topics that, you know, involve you, because science building is quite far with these problems. We only calculating something, simulation. So I wondering that, okay, this is interesting topics for me because I experience myself, and I think we have to open real world design opportunities to come up with the design problems. And you know, in my knowledge, I think the design inclusion or inclusive design is not really being taught in universities. For example, in Surabaya, I think first university which teaching the inclusive design is Petra University since 2010, and I was involved in 2013. But in 2017, in my university, we tried to do the same things. So I think the cultural climate for inclusive and universal design education is right now. And not only, I hope in Ube also give teaching about inclusive design. Next slide, please. So we have elective class about inclusive architecture, and I think it's quite challenging, and now it's quite popular in my campus because we are having fun with this class. So we try to seek the present participant view from within in any situation, both physically and socially, and we also knowledge discursive problems from the voice of the person with disability and who owns experiences. But so we try to not select, but we try to invite some participants, and we try to give them the priority to give us the topics. Not we determine the topics, but our participants, our partners give the topics to us, because you know it's quite challenging. And they will describe their work, their preferences. You know, they didn't talk about the rule, they didn't talk about something scientific, but they will talk about telling stories. And then what you said there before, Patrick as well in the first day. And also they're expressing their feeling within, is it a bad, good idea, bad things, good things. They will talk anything. And we also try to collaborating with and working together with DPO. And once again, because this is an elective class, and I handle it myself, so I try to make it more fun, easy, and the student will remember forever, hopefully. Next slide, please. So we have so many assignments, but our assignment is quite, not really challenging, but quite interesting, because our first assignment is about experiencing with the user. We have a forum, and you know, in the group, so the partners will tell the stories, and we, the student, academician, and something like that, we try to hear the stories and experience their life. And the second one, we experience in the built environment. And the built environment, the participants, the partners choose themselves. For example, this year, we experienced the bus, Surabaya bus. You know, we have a new bus in Surabaya, and it's loaded. And some of friends from Sidoarjo, Bumadi, and friends, they never experienced the bus in Surabaya. So they want to, okay, let's try the bus and experience all the way from this spot to spot. So we are trying that. And after that, in the end, we are proposing the idea by the SGD. So we compile the problems, we proposing the idea, and it's only small case, not all the whole case, but it's only small case, and we try to make it better. Next slide, please. So this is one step about user need must be explored and locally translated. You know, we invite friends to give lecturer, to give their experiences, and I think it's common. I think it's common for everybody. Maybe you ever join this part, but you know, it's funny because my students never know about disability issue. So at the beginning, they are very nervous. They are worried to us and interact, how we interact with the deaf people and how we interact with the people with wheelchair. They're scary to us. But you know, my dear friend is very friendly, and they sometimes joking by themselves, you know what I mean? For example, there we have how to help them and then how to communicate. So it's quite, you know, it's very relaxed, very fun event, so they can put the idea. Next slide, please. So this is one of the examples when we eat in outdoor together. So one of the friends, my dear friends Budewi, teach the student how to describe the food. And it's very important, you know, even though it's small things, the food, they have a rule. When they eat something, and the student and I also don't know about that. They describe the food, which orientation, what kind of food that they want to eat, or something like that. So they can have a picture of what kind of food they want to get. And this is only small part. And I'm wondering, how about the micro to the meso, the macro environment? I think it will be more interesting and more complex to dividing, to describing about the details of the environment. Next slide, please. So this also about how I don't want they, you know, in a class, you know, very formal, but I ask them to go out, you know, in outside, just like sitting, scrambling, and our partners telling the story to students. So it's just like very relaxing, but the students know how to ask and how to communicate their idea with each other. So I think it's quite nice to see these pictures. Next slide, please. And also bringing bodily experience into design thinking. You know, if the student, you know, it's quite amazing because I can ask the student to do this, but if they want to do this by themselves, I said, right? If I say, okay, you have to close your eyes for from the beginning until the end of the event, they will do it. But they won't do it by themselves. For example, okay, I will go to the school with my eyes closed. You know, they don't dare do it. So I force them to do something which is quite fun, and they see that, okay, this is a good thing. And next slide, please. So this is a very nice story. Actually, we try to, you know, experience the pedestrian ways. And in front of the Delta Plaza, I don't know, you know Delta Plaza, one of Plaza in Surabaya, we have new furniture, street furniture. And this is one of the, my friend's child. And you know, the street furniture is quite fragile. And suddenly he grabbed it and put it in hand. So I was wondering, because for me myself, I'm quite challenging to pass this through. And sometimes I have to grab the street furniture, and okay, I couldn't grab the head, right, because it's too fragile, because this child can grab it and put it in head. So it's quite, yeah, it's not easy for me to put it. Next slide, please. So here, I want to conclude about, I have a conclusion that best practice are not only recorded as theorizing outcome, but also have a real impact to everybody with experience. I highlight everybody's experience, not only talk about people with disability experience, but all of the people experience. And inclusive environment is not only for people with disability only, but need to be seen as promoting the human rights, and this for all people. And collaboration and working together with different actors, including disabled people, academicians, stakeholders, policy makers, and governments, DBO, and private sectors, I think it's important for sustainable action. And all practice must be focused on the goodwill. I think we have to highlight these things, but not only project-oriented, because it's quite different. If you see something in a project-oriented, the outcome will be different. And the practice needs to be held continuously. And because I'm quite lucky because at the first beginning, my class has only 25 students and with only 2 supporters with my junior. But now we have still, because this is elective class, 25, but when we do, next slide please. When we do our last survey, more than 55 people joined this group. So 10 lecturers and then more than 40 students and 9 the team from PIC, Sidoarjo, Made joined with us. So I hope, and we will do this class every year. And if I'm not around, or maybe sometime because I'm not sure if I'm around, always around in my campus, I still have 9 lecturers who support our project. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you very much.